President Paul Kagame has emphasized that the insecurity in the Democratic Republic of Congo cannot be resolved through conflicts. We have more of this report coming from Adam Squizera.
Speaking at a crisis summit that brought together heads of state of the EAC to discuss the escalating security situation in the eastern part of DRC, which saw the North Kivu provincial capital Goma fall to the Congolese rebel group M23 earlier this week. President Kagame asked the East African community to enhance its efforts in addressing the situation in the Eastern Democratic Republic of Congo, spotlighting the need for the community to coordinate its actions effectively.
If it is talking about problems and defining them, and I think we have been very eloquent. We have talked about all kinds of things. But when do we match what we are saying and what we are doing so that we get to what we want? When do we come to that? I haven't seen it. President, I asked last time in our meeting, the last summit, where is East African community, or does it exist? And exist for what? By the way, even now the person or the country we are talking about is not represented as we are discussing. And it is supposed to be, the country is supposed to be part of East Africa, but nowhere to be represented. So I'm not sure what bearing what we are discussing has on what happens in the process of finding a solution in this country. I'll move on. The conflict that was created from the time we had the East African community get involved in trying to help in Congo, and later on when the East African force was trying its best and we are seeing progress, Tshisekedi decided they are not doing what he wanted and went to SADC. SADC agreed they would come and do what he wanted and sent everybody packing. And that we complied and kept quiet. What really did we expect to come out of this?
On this point, the head of state emphasized that while the collaboration with the EAC exists, it alone cannot solve the problem unless the concerned parties demonstrate genuine willingness to address it.
But even if we were doing everything right, all of us, nothing is going to come out of it until those mainly concerned are also part of it and participating and contributing to the success of the process through which they are getting the support. But if the parties decide or accept to be manipulated, because, and by the way, that's exactly what happened. And I think in Congo, there are experts for doing that. They would go to one party and promise them something, and then they would decide to keep quiet about what is obviously going to result into problems like we are seeing now.
President Kagame also reiterated that the process cannot be an end in itself, cautioning against the belief that this issue can only be resolved militarily.
They talked about Rwanda, they talked about the Nairobi process. Honestly, even here, maybe you will help me understand what all this means. the processes became an end in themselves. And the people leading these processes became more important than the results of the processes. The Nairobi process became a Uhuru process. Then the Rwanda process, it's like you can't say anything that will displease President Lorenzo. Definitely, this does not help deal with such a serious matters as we are faced with today. That in the end, just because they can't be addressed, we have such a situation that, like we have now. And if anybody, and above all, I don't understand how Tshisekedi keeps thinking that he will resolve the problems to do with rights of people militarily.
Although the 24th EAC Extraordinary Summit was held virtually, President Felix Tshisekedi of DRC did not attend. Among the resolutions adopted were the ceasefire of the FLDC and M23, a request for the Congolese government to protect diplomatic missions. The summit also called for peaceful settlements of the conflict and strongly urged the government of DRC to directly engage with all stakeholders, including M23 and other armed groups that have grievances. Adam Squizera, RwandaTV News.